Hey everyone! In this video, I'd like to walk with you through some high-level concepts on how you can build a web application. The point of this video is not to show you any code, but it's going to be an overview of the different technologies you can use, what's their purpose, and the overall architecture of your program. We'll then take a look at how you can optimize the building process by using some cloud providers. But let's start. Let's start with the first question. What is a web application? A web application is any application that can be run through your browser. An example of a web app is what runs on Facebook.com. You can see that it's not simply a website that showcases some media and text, but it's an extremely complex piece of software with buttons that results in different behaviors when clicked. Like scrolling the feed. That is an extremely smart algorithm that will return you some content that it believes you'll like. Let's switch now to the building process of an application and the anatomy of a web application. One framework that I like to think when I build applications is to divide the main logic of the software into three areas: the user interface, or the UI, the server, and the database. This framework is also called Model View Controller, MVC. The UI is what will be presented to the users. This is also what we see when we interact with the app. There are some great technologies out there that can help us build great user interfaces. If we're building a web application, React and Angular are the most popular technologies used at the current time. Both of them are based on the JavaScript language, which these days is the most used programming language in the world. Every front-end technology that you'll choose will require you to know some basic HTML and CSS. Those are languages used to display documents on a web page and style them. While technologies based on the JavaScript language deal with making a page dynamic so that it has different behavior as a response to user clicks, HTML and CSS will take care of what's statically being shown to the user. The database is where you'll persist the information. If you think of Facebook as an example, their databases will contain all the information about the users and the posts they created, on top of a lot of other information. There are several technologies that are used for databases, mostly divided into two main categories: relational and not relational databases. The former are databases that store information using tables, while the latter use a storage model that is optimized for the type of data that they use. Some examples of these storage models are key-value pair, JSON, or graph databases. Postgres and MySQL are probably the most used database technologies belonging to the relational category, while MongoDB and Neo4j are some widely adopted non-relational databases. Finally, the server is going to be the bridge between the UI and the database. In practice, it will facilitate the requests made by the user in the UI and convert them into understandable requests by the database. The server will also facilitate the flow of data from the database back to the UI, making sure that the information gets processed and formatted properly so that it's readable by the UI. In the years, there have been some great new technologies to build servers. Java has been out there for a while, and it's still being used by a ton of developers in the world every day. Some more recent technologies, though, are Python and Go. The former is a dynamic language that has widely been used by the machine learning community to build models and neural networks, while the second is a programming language developed by Google that is extremely light and has some great support for concurrency. One great thing about web apps is that once you build an application that is able to run on the browser, it is easy to convert it to an application that is natively running on the operating system. Electron.js is a great tool that facilitates this process. Some famous apps that were built as web apps and then converted into native apps include Twitch, Facebook Messenger, and Slack. And by the way, if you're not sure on what a native app is, it's just the application that you can find on your operating system. If you have macOS, it's what you find in the bar, and on Windows, it's what is generally referred to as an executable. So you can interact with all of these apps using either your website and visiting the website, or by running the executables on your computer. This gives you also the advantage of writing and maintaining your code only once, while deploying your application into several environments. Once you have these three main areas in mind, you can think on how to use cloud computing to help you. All the main cloud providers give you the possibility to create a database on the cloud without the need to configure it. Amazon Web Services has a great offering for a SQL database that is called RDS, which stands for Relational Database Service. An example of a non-SQL database offering instead can be found in Datastore on the Google Cloud Platform. Using a database on the cloud is a great way to speed up the development phase of your product, since the configurations and the setups are so much easier. And if your app is going to grow its user base, it's going to scale so much better. Recently, cloud providers have introduced offerings that replace the need to build a server too. These offerings are often referred to as serverless. Lambda from AWS is a great example of such an offering. After setting up a database in AWS, you can deploy some custom code to Lambda, and it will be run connected to your database without you having to worry about configurations and setting up your own server. In this way, when your UI is requesting some data, the Lambda will read the request, fetch the data from the database, and craft a response suitable for the UI. The downside of this approach is that it's not extremely customizable. In case your application needs some complex code, it might be easier to set up your own server. In addition to this, using cloud offerings can be very expensive. So you need to keep in mind that the speed and the agility they provide comes with a cost. Building applications is a huge field, but I hope that with this video I gave you some useful insights on some technologies out there that can help you in developing and building your own projects. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing to the channel and put a comment below with some of the experiences you had in using these technologies.